All right, let's talk about unemployment insurance, or as I like to call it, getting paid to find your next job. And before you start feeling guilty about it, let me stop you right there. This isn't charity. This isn't welfare. This is literally insurance that you and your employer have been paying into, and now it's time to collect. Think of it like car insurance. You pay premiums for years hoping you'll never need it. But when someone rear-ends you at a red light, you don't feel bad about filing a claim. Same thing here, except instead of getting rear-ended by a careless driver, you got rear-ended by corporate restructuring. Now here's the thing about unemployment benefits that most people get wrong. Timing is absolutely critical. I'm talking about file today, not tomorrow critical, because in most states, your benefits don't start from when you lost your job. They start from when you file your claim. So if you got laid off on a Tuesday and you wait until next Monday to file because you want to get your head together first, congratulations, you just donated a week of benefits to the government. Don't do that. File immediately, even if you're still processing what happened. But before you can file, you need to understand that if you're actually eligible, because not everyone is, the good news is if you got laid off through no fault of your own, you're probably eligible. The bad news is there are some sneaky ways to accidentally disqualify yourself. First, you need to have worked long enough and earned enough money. Most states require that you worked for at least a year and earned a minimum amount, but the exact numbers vary. If you are a contractor or a freelancer, this gets more complicated, but it's not impossible. Here's where people mess up their eligibility. They quit instead of getting laid off, or they get fired for cause. If you saw the layoffs coming and decided to quit first to maintain your dignity, you might have just cost yourself thousands of dollars in benefits. Quitting almost always disqualifies you from unemployment, even if you had a really good reason. If you got fired, it depends on why. Getting fired for poor performance usually doesn't disqualify you. Getting fired for stealing or violating company policy probably will. Getting fired for attendance issue is a gray area that depends on the specifics. And here's something that trips people up. If your employer offers you a new position and you turn it down, that might disqualify you. Even if the new position pays less or requires you to move to a different city, the key word here is suitable work. And the definition of suitable gets broader the longer you're employed. Now, let's talk about how much money we're talking about here, because that's what you really want to know. Your unemployment benefit is usually calculated as a percentage of your average weekly wage over the past year, up to a maximum amount that varies by state. Most states will pay somewhere between 40 and 50% of your previous income, but there's a cap. So if you were making six figures, you're not going to get six-figure unemployment benefits. The maximum weekly benefits range from around $350 in some states to over $800 in others. Here's how to calculate what you'll probably get. Take your gross income from the past 4 quarters, divide by the number of weeks you worked, then multiply it by your state's percentage. There are calculators online for this, but honestly, the unemployment office will tell you the exact amount when you file. Most states pay benefits for up to 26 weeks, but this can get extended during recessions or high unemployment periods. Some states are stingier and only pay for 12 weeks. A few generous states will pay for up to 30 weeks even in normal times. And here's something important. Unemployment benefits are taxable income. The government is not going to automatically take taxes out unless you ask them to, so you can either have taxes withheld from your unemployment checks, or you can plan to pay a big tax bill next April. Your choice, but don't forget about it. Now, let's talk about the actual filing process, because this is where organization pays off. You're going to need documentation, and the more prepared you are, the faster your claim gets processed. You'll need your social security number, driver's license, your most recent pay stub, and employment information for all the jobs you've had in the past 18 months. This means company names, addresses, phone numbers, your dates of employment, and how much you earned at each job. If you worked for multiple employers or had any contract work, gather all of that information too. The unemployment office wants to see your complete work history to calculate your benefits correctly. Most states let you file online now, which is way better than sitting on hold for 3 hours trying to talk to someone. The online systems usually walk you through each step, and you can save your progress if you need to hunt down more information. Here's a pro tip. File your claim on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday if possible. Mondays are crazy busy because everyone who lost a job over the weekend is filing. Fridays are busy because people procrastinate. Midweek filing usually means faster processing. When you're filling out the application, be honest but strategic with your answers. If they ask you why you're unemployed, lack of work or layoff is better than company downsizing or budget cuts, because those terms are clearer about it not being your fault. If they ask about your availability for work, the answer is yes, you're available full-time. Even if you're secretly hoping to find something part-time, you can always turn down unsuitable job offers, but saying you're only available part-time might reduce or eliminate your benefits. Now, once your claim is approved, you're not done. You have to certify for benefits every week or every 2 weeks, depending on your state. This means logging into the system and answering questions about whether you looked for work, whether you turned down any job offers, and whether you earned any money. And yes, you do have to look for work. This isn't a paid vacation. Most states require that you make a certain number of job search contacts every week and keep records of your search activities. The good news is this includes a lot more than just applying for jobs. Networking events count. Informational interviews count. Career counseling appointments count. Updating your LinkedIn profile might count. Check your state-specific requirements, but cast a wide net when you're documenting your job search activities. Here's something most people don't know. You can work part-time and still collect some unemployment benefits in most states. If you find some freelance work or a part-time job, you don't automatically lose your benefits. Your employment might get reduced by a portion of what you earn, but you won't necessarily lose the whole thing. The exact formula varies by state, but generally, if you earn less than your weekly benefit amount, you'll still get something. This is great news if you can find some contract or part-time work while you're looking for your next full-time position. But here's where people get in trouble. You have to report all income when you certify for benefits, all of it. Even if it's just $50 from selling something on eBay, even if it's cash, the unemployment office has ways of finding out about unreported income, and getting caught can mean paying back all of your benefits plus interest and penalties. Now, what happens if your claim gets denied? Don't panic. Denials are more common than you think, and many of them get overturned on appeal. You usually have 10 to 30 days to file an appeal, so don't wait. Common reasons for denial include disputes about whether you were actually laid off versus fired, questions about your work history, or issues with your availability for work. If your former employer contests your claim, which they sometimes do to keep their unemployment insurance costs down, that can also trigger a denial. The appeals process usually involves a phone hearing where you get to tell your side of the story. Treat this seriously. Gather your documentation, prepare your talking points, and be professional. Many denials get overturned at this stage if you can clearly explain what happened. Here's a mistake that costs people money: missing their weekly certification. If you forget to certify for benefits one week, you might not get paid for that week, even if you're still unemployed. Set a reminder on your phone. Make it routine. Don't leave money on the table because you forgot to click a few buttons. And finally, let's talk about what happens when you find a new job. You need to report your new employment immediately, even if you haven't started yet. Don't try to squeeze out one more week of benefits after you've accepted a job offer. That's fraud, and it's not worth the risk. Most states are pretty reasonable about this transition. If you find a job that starts 2 weeks from now, you can usually collect benefits until your start date. Just be honest about your situation. Look, unemployment benefits aren't going to replace your full salary, but they're going to buy you time to find the right job instead of just any job. And that time is valuable. Don't rush into the first opportunity that comes along just because you're worried about money. Use this safety net to be strategic about your next move. In our next module, we're going to talk about restructuring your budget for this new reality. Because even with unemployment benefits, you're probably going to need to make some changes to how you spend money. But there are some smart ways to cut costs and not so smart ways, and I'm going to show you the difference. For now, go file that unemployment claim today, right now. Your future self will thank you for every dollar you collect while you're finding your next opportunity.